Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, and you are watching season 2, episode 2 of Stunt Shows and Shenanigans. Y'all, where are my banners? Did I just get rid of that just that quick? You know I try. You know I try over here. That's the old one. Here it is. Here we go. Here we go. Y'all, welcome to season 2, episode 2 of Stunt Shows and Shenanigans. You know the deal. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video if you care. Also, let me pull my banner up really quick. Please support the channel. I can be found on Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook, Pam Entertainment TV. So please subscribe in all those different places. Also, if you want to uh, bless the Cash App is scrolling across the bottom. And if you want to become a member of the channel, please do. All support of this channel is welcome. And the biggest support is if you'll hit that thumbs up button. That'll help with my engagement. All right. We're gonna keep this slow. We're gonna keep this metered, and we're gonna get this going because I want to be on here not too long. I know you all are having a wonderful, wonderful Sunday evening, and I want you to get back to what you're doing. But right now, for this smooth hour, y'all watch me and we'll figure these things out as we can. All right. So, what are we talking about today? We've got some light topics and we've got some heavy topics. So, I am going to move through my light topics very quickly, and then we'll start discussing the heavy topics. So, you'll see what's going on. So, really, 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 really quick. If you've been under a rock, uh, Biden dropped out of the race, y'all. Was it last Sunday or the Sunday before last? Last Sunday he dropped out of the race. And now Kamala Harris, President Kamala Harris, is running for the ticket. I don't think she's been made the nominee yet. I think they have to go through their convention and everything like that. But Biden stepped aside and he named Kamala Harris as uh, the person that should succeed him. And he told the Democrats that he did a letter on Twitter, and I think I reviewed that letter on Twitter. But also after that, there was a lot of things that happened through the week. There was several Zoom calls. You had the black women had their Zoom call and they raised $1.5 million. You had black men who had their Zoom call and they raised 1.3 million. You had the Hispanic women and the Hispanics, they had a Zoom call. Now I'm not sure how much they raised. We had the white women, they raised some money too. So a lot of people's raising now. From my understanding, at the last time that I checked, I think that the campaign had raised almost 200, almost a quarter of $1 million. Child. So I would be interested at this point in juncture. We know what the Republicans what they're running on their ticket from their convention. So I'm going to be curious to see what the Democratic Party is running on, because you remember the Democratic Party has made a lot of promises to a lot of groups of folks, and they have not panned out for a lot of those groups of folks. So it's going to be interesting. It probably will be the same old, same old. We will see. We will see. But I did want to just talk about that. Trump and his running mate, they're pulling some stuff up behind the running. What is it, JD Vance? They've pulled some stuff up about what he said. I think that they've pulled some stuff on Kamala Harris and all this other stuff, because now everybody's debating whether she's black or whether she's biracial. People are debating JD Vance, his sexual orientations, and if his wife is a B. It's a whole bunch of stuff. So I expected, because we vote in November, so I expect around mid-September we're gonna start seeing everybody swinging and swinging for the sense, slinging the mud and swinging for the fences. So we will be able to see all of that, and y'all vote for who you vote. I just tell you to vote. Let your vote count. Let your vote count. Don't be don't just sit back. Just vote for who you want to. But that's your vote. If you exercise your right not to vote, then you exercise right for it. But I'm voting regardless, because my grandparents and parents fought too hard uh for us to have the right to vote, for me to squander it just because, for whatever reason. Even if the candidates, because you can vote split tickets and all this other stuff. So maybe some candidates in some parties or whatever. I don't know how it works in your state, but I would just encourage you to vote. I encourage you to pay attention to politics, because whether we like it or not, politics runs this country. And from politics come laws, and these laws govern what we do, good, bad, or indifferent. So it's very important that you pay attention. And if this whole scale of presidential elections is too much for you, pay attention to your city council meetings. Go to one of your city council meetings. Pay attention to who's running for city council, who's running for office. Pay attention to how your police chiefs and your fire chiefs are put into office. Pay attention to the treasurer, and your school boards. That is very, very important. Living where I live in Alabama, paying attention to your local school boards is very, very important, because you will have people who do not have children in the public school system sitting on these school boards, making decisions about your children, and then sabotaging the things going on with your children. So if you are someone who has children and you have children in the public school system, please pay attention to your school board. Please understand who represents you on that school board, because they are supposed to do your wishes as far as what you want your children to be taught. So please be mindful of that. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Were y'all paying attention to the Olympics? Are y'all paying attention to the Olympics? Who y'all got? Who y'all got? Team USA. Did you all watch the opening ceremony? Baby, let me just tell y'all something really, really, really quick. I don't know where I put it. Let's see. Because, baby, them people over there at the Paris Olympics, they done spent some money. When I tell you they have spent some money, I just want to go over just real briefly. Real briefly. Because I honestly liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was gorgeous. They had a lot of stuff going on. That is not how, where am I? I thought it was pretty good. I mean, the opening ceremonies were, they were pretty good. I thought it was a big flex to bring in all the teams on their own little flotilla, their own boat, their own yacht, so to speak. I was a little bit worried about the team you because I didn't know how many people these yachts could hold, and I think they had like 580 something people. I was a little worried. I was like, they need to get past this water, because I didn't have any issues and problems with the swimmers, but I didn't think like most of the people on the track team could run. I'm just just kidding. But the Summer Olympics was the opening ceremony to me was gorgeous. I wanted to see if I could find some of these pictures. And we're not going to go on the whole thing, but that was the Eiffel Tower. That's where the torch and all that came. They ran through the torch. I saw that Snoop Dogg was a torch bearer at one point. Um, who else did I see? There was somebody else. There was some other artists and things like that. I just thought that was interesting. They really brought out all the French artists and the art and all this other stuff. I enjoyed it. It was very, very well put together. I mean, I like the guy, someone called him Assassin Creed, running across the rooftops with the torch. We saw Lady Gaga. There was this one singer who sung Imagine, and they were on floating device. It looked like it looked like a barge, but they were on this little small barge, and the piano was ablaze and everything like that. I thought that was beautiful. Child, they even had Beyonce's Renaissance horse floating, running through there, carrying a rider. These are the two people that like lit the torch, and then it was like like a hot air balloon. That was pretty. uh Baby, Miss Celine Dion got up there and she was singing her heart out. Didn't understand a word she said, but I felt it. I felt like she was singing, and I was so, it was nice to see her come back and to sing. I know that she's had a considerable amount of health problems, but it was so nice for her to see her come back and sing. Let me see. Y'all, let me see. That's Serena Williams and stuff right there. And Serena, I am so glad she changed stylists and makeup artists, and I do believe that they are people, either they are of African descent or they have worked on African skin, because the other makeup artist that she had and the other stylist that she had, they had her looking like the Wicked Witch of the East, West, North, and South. She was looking a hot mess, but I am so glad to see that her glow up is such a beautiful thing, because she's a beautiful woman and they had her looking a mess. But I'm glad that she looks so much better. And here it is. I wonder if I could play this. But this is where the little horse, you see the horse right here? They had the I don't want the sound to play. That's the only thing. Because I don't know if there's any kind of music. But do you see that bad boy? I thought that was just gorgeous. I really did. I don't know what it was about it. It just seemed so gorgeous to see that horse galloping on the out there on the water. And then the female horse rider that was carrying the flag, her outfit her outfit was amazing. Her outfit was amazing. And this is Team USA. Now, did you all see Team Mongolia? I think it's like Team Mongolia, uh, uh, Haiti. I want to say Mexico and one more country. They had their outfits, because this is just Ralph Lauren. He's done this a couple of times. It's pretty much the same. I think the last time they did it, it was like in a white or a red, and now it's like blue and white. He's pretty much done the same things. But hey, some of these there's just Shakiri. But some of these outfits and stuff, these teams, gorgeous and beautiful, gorgeous and beautiful. I was trying to see. I want a pair of these glasses. I really do. If somebody, my international folks, if you all are over there in France, because I know y'all British folks, it is number 40 minutes to get there. Germany, I don't know how long it takes for you all to get over there, but go pick me up some glasses real quick and just ship them. I'll let you know my shipping address. Pick me up a couple of them and I'll cash app you. I promise. Zelle, whatever it is. This is the mascot. I don't know exactly. I don't know what that means. I don't even know how to pronounce it, but that's the mascot. There's Assassin. Assassin Creed. Running across the rooftops with the thing. I forgot Lady Gaga performed, but I didn't really see her performance in anything like that. But did y'all watch the opening ceremony? Have y'all been watching the Olympics? Now let's get to the scoreboard. Oh, let's see. Oh, because we saw Beyonce. She was there in her little get up. We saw Snoop Dogg. I told you all about that. Because they're well within the Olympics right now. So I probably should have scrolled to the point where I needed to have been. But they're well underway, because I've watched swimming. People have won gold, all this kind of stuff. So let's look at the gold. Who's leading? I'm gonna make this bigger. All right, let's see. Let's refresh it, because something may have changed since the last time. Doesn't look like anything changed, but they have it ranked in who's winning the goals. And so far, let's see. We got Japan leading with 4 gold medals. We've got Australia leading number 2 with 4 gold medals. The United States has 3 gold medals. France has 3. South Korea has 3. China has 3. Then you have Italy, Kazakhstan, Belgium, and Germany with 1. And it looks like the United States is leading with total with 12. Let me go down to make sure. Yeah. It looks like the United States is leading because they have more silver than they do gold. Are y'all watching the Olympics? Y'all let me know. All right. Let's get back to this. Again, please hit that like button. Please share this video if you care. Now let's get on to some serious stunt shows and shenanigans that are going on over there at San Diego Comic-Con. If you all have been under a rock, uh, we have been waiting patiently to see what they were going to do with the Kang Dynasty and all of this. Were they going to bring Kang back? If they were going to bring Kang, because a lot of, I think the consensus is halfway, is people thought that, if they were not going to use Jonathan Majors, Okay, but don't abort the storyline. Go ahead and run that storyline through, even if it's just for one movie. Run that storyline and then go. But apparently that is not what they've done. They have decided that they have scrapped the Kang storyline. I think that they have because if you had watched Loki season 2, you saw that like towards the end they were like, well, we were taking care of the Kang variants and all this other stuff. So I'm thinking that they probably believe that they have wrapped up that King story in a little neat little bow uh, at the end of Loki. That this is what I'm thinking that they've done, which is a shame because I didn't think Kang was a Loki villain. I don't know why I thought Kang was like a Fantastic Four Avenger type villain over there. So I think that they have just shunned him over to the corner. I don't think that they're going to bring him back for anything or anytime soon. So they've decided that they were going to pivot. And in the process of them pivoting, they're going backwards. They pulled the Russo brothers back. So the Russo brothers are back. So then they decided that they were going to unveil their Doctor Doom, because Doctor Doom is coming in to be the villain, and they said that they were going to unveil. So let me ooh, child. Let me look and see which one it is. Here we go. I think I got it. Let's see if it's gonna play right where it was. Familiar with Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. played in the MCU for the past 10, probably 10 years as Iron Man. And so you see in back behind him, it's going to be Avengers Doomsday and Avengers. Is it Secret Wars? Go back through there. Let me see if they've got them both up there. But they've announced that Robert Downey Jr. is going to be Dr. Von Doom. What is it? Victor Von Doom. They've announced that he is going to be hold up. They've announced that he is going to be Doctor Doom, which sounds into me is just crazy because it's to me it's confusion. Now, if you want to talk about shout out to Blue, but I was just on his live, but you talk about stunt shows and shenanigans. That is complete stunt shows and shenanigans. If you're someone who follows the Marvel and Marvel movies and things like that, that's complete stunt shows and shenanigans, and it's confusing. You've had someone who's played this character for 10 years and you're going to bring him back. What? You're going to rewrite the story of Victor Von Doom. You're going to pull from some obscure comic to figure out what you're going to do. It's crazy. It would have been better if you would have hired a younger, hungrier actor to play this part. It doesn't make any sense to bring him back and then to confuse the audience. And particularly if you've got kids and things like that that are going to this movie, because I think about my nephew and all that, they know him as Iron Man. And now we have to figure out how to tell them, no, that's not Iron Man anymore. He's Victor Von Doom. I mean, we can, because if you're someone like me, in the grand scheme of things, I know that different actors play different things. But when you're talking about in the same, it's confusing. It gets a little confusing, particularly if they played such a prominent role here in the MCU. It would be different if they pulled the guy who played. Give me an Iron Man villain, somebody. It doesn't matter. But if he had played like an Iron Man villain for one movie, it would be okay at that point because he played a a villain, an obscure villain for a little bit, a short period of time, and so you could see that. But you've had someone who who is on merchandise as Iron Man. You have someone who is on toys and all kinds of things and t-shirts and things as Iron Man. What, three or four movies as Iron Man, and now you bring him back as Victor Von Doom. It's confusing to me. I don't know exactly what they're doing. um it's too many stunts, too many shows, and too many shenanigans. It's almost like they are purposely trying to do the opposite that they know that what they can do. I think the Russo brothers coming back is a wonderful thing. I do. I think it's a wonderful thing, because I think that the MCU needs some cohesion. And my point of view on that is everything doesn't need to be in the multiverse. Tell story character driven stories, because there are a lot of characters that you can tell character driven stories. You don't have to put 16,852 movies out. You can definitely tell a character driven story with a couple of characters in that particular movie. You can do that. It is possible to do that. But when you're just doing, when you're hiring people who know nothing about the character, or they're putting their own little twist and turn on it because they want to make that cool 15-20 million dollars that Marvel is offering, you getting all these crazy behind movies. And the movies that are making you money, that have great storylines, you just kind of push them to the side. And I'm talking about Black Panther. I believe in my heart about recasting T'Challa. But what I'm seeing, the climate in Disney is this: they have allowed these loud, small minority of men, white men, get on here and complain and holler and scream like little sorry bitches about, oh my god, you got all these, you got all these women, and you've got all these black people and these minorities, and it's just taken away. And so what they do is that they bomb all of these movies, and or they give these and a lot of these men are built up as critics. They get passes, they get all of these little different things, and so they scream, kip, and holler about, they don't want to see anybody in superhero movies but them. The faces, everybody has to look like them. So, or if they're women, they need to be anyway, you know what I'm talking about. So that, you're having that small minority of men do all this screaming and hollering, and sabotaging movies by throwing all these bad critical things in here and all these little different things, because they don't want that. So they're going to get their Russo brother, they're going to get their RDJ, they're going to get all those things. But I'm just telling you right now, it doesn't matter if you get all these people here. If the writing continues to be crap, that's all you're going to get is crap. And that's just point blank period. If the writing continues to be crap, then it's going to always be crap. So all of that confusion over there at Marvel is a mess. And I wish them well, but they could have recast T'Challa, and they could have made another $1 million, $1 billion on that alone, and they could have made some decisions. And we're still waiting on Blade. But the way the climate is running over there, I honestly, y'all, I don't think Blade is coming. I really don't think Blade is coming. What do y'all think on these first three topics? Y'all let me know. We've talked about the presidential race with Harris versus Trump. We're just waiting on the Democratic Party to announce that Harris is their front runner, is their person. Stunt shows and shenanigans over there at Marvel. And what did y'all think about the Olympic Summer Games? Y'all put that down in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. So let's move on. Now we're into our more heavier topic, y'all. And I'm not going to tell you no lie. This has dominated the news all week. And, I like for things to be light and airy over here. But I am also aware that there are some things going on in the nation that we need to talk about. So let's get into this. So, trigger warning, this is going to be a heavy topic. It's going to be talking about someone who was murdered. If those things are topics that make you feel uneasy, this is the portion of the show that you would need to log out. All right. So, y'all, back on July 6th, a young lady named Sonia Massey called the police at about 12 a.m. stating that there was somebody prowling around her home. She heard some things crashing or whatever it was. So she calls the police. The police come, they walk around the building, and there is body cam footage of them walking around the movie. I'm not playing any, because if I'm not going to play, I'm not playing any of that body cam footage, because again, I've had to say my own trigger warning. I have seen too many of these. Well, the last one I saw, I think was, what is it, Castillo? That was the I think that was the one that saw, and that just unnerved me to know that that man got shot and his wife and child is sitting in the back over there in the seat and they're having to sit there with anyway. Mm. So she calls the police come. Now, according again, I did not see the video. I am going by what is being said, and I'm going to go ahead and go through an article real quick, but I just wanted to kind of give an overview of what I understand it to be. They call the police. They let it. The police say, "Hey, there's nobody in here back." For some reason, they go inside. They go inside, and that's when all kind of chaos is. So let's go ahead and look at this article I'm going to read, and then there's two things that are going on. I'm going to read this article about what happened, and then I want to read the article about this particular officer who unalived uh, Miss Sonia Massey and some of the things that are going on with him. And again, you remember when I talked about politics? This is why certain things are very, very important in regards to politics, because certain procedures and certain things should anyway, we should be paying attention to those things. So let me share the screen. All right, let's go through here. I know we can make this bigger. So we're reading an article from Vox written by Lee Zhao. I think that's Lee Zhao. What we know about the police killing of Sonia Massey, it adds to a long and disturbing pattern of police violence towards Black Americans. And we see Crump. Crump is always there. We also see this. I think this is Sonia Massey's son, and around here is her family. Body cameras footage released this week offered a harrowing look at the police killing of Sonia Massey. I didn't know she was 36. 30. A 36-year-old Black woman in Springfield, Illinois, and renewed scrutiny of the disproportionate violence Black Americans faced at the hand of law enforcement. On July 6th, Massey was shot by a sheriff's deputy in her home after officers responded to her call about a potential prowler. And see, this is what kills me is that they are called to the home because the people are they're the victims. They're right at that point. They're the concerned party. They get called to the home, and it goes from you outside checking the perimeter to shooting somebody, and it makes no sense. Following checks of her backyard and surrounding areas, at least two officers entered her home as part of their visit. Inside, one of them asked her to turn off the stove. While doing so, she picks up a pot of boiling water and the officers back away, noticing that they want to distance themselves from it. She makes a comment about rebuking them in the name of Jesus, in which at which point one of them, Sean Grayson, shoots at her 3 times, including once fatally in the head. A grand jury has since indicted Grayson on 3 counts of first-degree murder, with some law enforcement experts questioning why he shoot Massey rather than pursue other alternative responses like adding more distance between them or using a taser. The shooting also adds a long history of police violence against Black Americans and underscores how enduring the problem continues to be. All right. And it goes on to talk about the different shootings and things like that. Atiana Jefferson, all of these people, Roger Fortson, all of these people that are shot in their home. You can't even get out. Hey, what you're doing, and then you're shot. And that again goes towards a lot of times what we say when we talk about the biases. People look at Black Americans as being violent, as and people have this level of fear of people to the point that even if you turn, even if you move, you're feeling threatened. I'll never forget there was an incident in Florida where this I'm going to say he was either a teacher or a caretaker of this young man who was autistic. Now the young man is out here uh uh in the throes of an episode. I'm just going to call it an episode. The police are called. You have the teacher that's there trying to protect the young man, saying, "Look, this young man is going through this, talking about this." The teacher is on the ground with the young man, and the cop still shoots him in the leg. And he says, "Why did you shoot me?" "I don't know. You moved." What? He had his hands up. He's laying down. He's trying to get this young man to do the same thing. And he gets shot. And I'm just sitting here like, even if these people have this amount of training, their biases is causing for them to do that. Do you remember the man? I don't know where he was, but I remember watching it. His car broke down. The police were called. There was like an overhead police copter and stuff like that. This man is standing there with his hands up and they shoot him. Why? Oh, well, he was advancing. He was going to get back in the car and do stuff. They make up all these. It's like they see these scenarios. It's like they have some kind of what's her name? That's so raisin. That's a raisin. That's so Raven incident where they go to, they have this flash of something and then they start to shoot. And I'm just like, you can't be sitting here a police officer and every doggone time you're just sitting up here panicking. But a lot of it to me is not panicking. Let me see who's in the room. I see some of y'all. Let's see what's going on. Hey, cat. What's up, Blue? Let's see. Oh, for this particular officer, he said no cameras. Huh. Okay. All right. And it's always interesting like that. When it's something that it just should be court hearings and things like that are public domain. You should be able to see that in the public. And to me, with the advances of how we operate as far as in a public space with the television cameras and YouTube and all these different things, there should be cameras in the courtroom. They're just not wanting you to see. Uh, I think that there should be cameras in the courtroom. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel about it, and we'll just continue. So, what do we know about the incident? It says the police. Uh-oh. I didn't leave you sitting up there. Police arrive at Massey's home after she called 911 about 12:50 a.m. on July 6th. And again, I talked about that. So here's a little bit more information that they talk about. While speaking with Miss Massey, they also asked her if she was doing okay mentally. And she responds by saying, "Yes, I took my medicine." And Ben Crump says she dealt with mental health struggles. And my question is this: what made them ask her that question? Did they know already that she was someone that suffered from some mental health issues? Because what made them ask that question? That's a question that nags me. What made you ask a question like that? Were you called out there on a mental health, or were you called out there because she felt like she was unsafe? There was somebody running around the home. It is not immediately apparent why the officer then go into Massey's house, but video shows her looking for ID. While they're inside, the officers realize that the stove is on and urge Miss Massey to turn the stove off. As she goes to do so, she moves the pot of boiling water that's on it, prompting the officers to back away. And where are you going? Massey says. Away from your hot steaming water, says Grayson. Away from my hot steaming water, Massey asked while holding the pot. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. You better effing not, or I swear to God, if I'll effing shoot you in your effing face. And that's what he did. Massey then says, I'm sorry, and ducks while raising the pot of the pot over her head as Grayson shoots multiple times and fatally wounds her. As his colleague moves to get a medical kit from their vehicle, Grayson comments, "Nah, she's done. You could go get it, but that's a headshot." He also states, "Yeah, I'm good. This effing B is crazy." Okay. Last week, a grand jury indicted Grayson on charges of first-degree murder as well as aggravated battery with a firearm and misconduct, all of which he pled not guilty to. He's been fired from the Sangamon County Sheriff Department, which noted that it is clear that the deputy did not act as trained or in accordance with our standards. A state attorney's review of the incident similarly concluded that its analysis does not support a finding that Grayson was justified in his use of deadly force. State prosecutors also cited an expert who described the act as comparable to an officer intentionally and unnecessarily putting himself in front of a moving vehicle and then justifying use of force because of fear of being struck. Interesting. So we're going to stop right there because there's another article that I wanted to go over right now. So this right here, it says the deputy who killed Sonia Massey was removed from the Army, had DUIs, and needed high stress decision classes. The records show. Now this is written by Holly Yan, Bill Kirkis, Amanda Musa, and Andy Rose. Now I wanted to talk about this or go over this really, really, really quickly because here's what I wanted to say. When I was talking earlier about politics and things like that, there are some jurisdictions here in the United States that if an officer cuts up in one portion, instead of that carrying over to where he cannot work in, because there's some jurisdictions where if an officer has I think they call it his jacket, but if he has enough incidents in his jacket that they can get rid of him, and then another police entity cannot pick him back up. But there is certain if they do decide to pick him back up, he has to go through either go back through training. It's something like that. Now that's some jurisdictions. Where I live at, there's nothing like that. You can be an officer in Birmingham, Alabama. You could have had several incidents and they appear to be racial or anything motivated. You have a bias against women. You have a bias with people having boogers in their noses. It doesn't matter. You can have so many incidents in your jacket. They decide to get rid of you because they not realize it's about to cost them some money. So they decide to get rid of you. And then what do? They transfer you down to Montgomery. And then you work in Montgomery a couple of years, you get a whole bunch of stuff going on, and then they decide, to let you go. But then you go down to Mobile, or you go over to Jackson, Mississippi, or you go down to Jacksonville, Florida, or you go over to Atlanta, wherever it is, or you go from a city police department to a county police department. You're still in law enforcement, and you're going different places. And some people realize, hey, I burned my bridges in this state. I'm going to go over here to this other state. You remember the officer that shot Tamir Rice? He did that. He wasn't fired, if I can remember. I remember they just kind of parted ways, and then he went over to a whole nother police department in a whole nother state, and then something happened over there where he was. I don't think it was an incident directly to him, but people started to realize that he was the officer that shot Tamir Rice. So you have all of this stuff going on. So let's read what's going on with this officer and all the stuff that they happened. And to me, this police department, why would you hire this man knowing that he had all of this stuff going on? And so let's go. Let's read this really, really, really quickly. Years before Sheriff Deputy Sean Grayson gunned down Sonia Massey in her own home, he had been discharged from the Army for serious misconduct and had a history of driving under the influence. I wonder, was he drunk when he was working that night? Because I'm looking at him right here, and I know this is not the same day, but he looks like he's had a little bit too much himself at that point. He also failed to obey a command while working for another sheriff's office in Illinois and was told he needed high stress decision making classes, the agency documents reveal. Grayson, who was a I can't pronounce that, is that Sangamon County Sheriff deputy before he was fired and charged with murder, responded to a report of a prowler at Massey's home on July 6th. Body cam footage from another deputy, and that's another thing too, because it's my understanding that he did not have his body cam camera on. And I'm at this point, and I probably have been at this point for a very long time. I do not think that officers should have the ability to turn that joker off. Once they start their shift and they put that joker on, it's on. Because there's a lot, it, it's on. It's being recorded. If you're someone who works remotely, you understand that you turn your computer on, that computer and all the little things you do with your mouse and all these little different things, and they're recording those things. I think that they should not have control over uh being able to turn that body camera off. And if their battery is dying or anything like that, the dispatch should know when the battery is about to die, and they'll call them to let them know, they can have charging batteries in the car, that they need to go ahead and recharge that battery, and they can't move from that spot until that battery is recharged and they can see that that body camera is working. Hmm. Grayson responded by threatening a 36-year-old. The exchange ended with Grayson shooting Massey and failing to render aid. And that's something, because you're supposed to at least go over to the body. You like, oh no, don't even worry about it. And shout out to that partner who understood the gravity, that to keep his body cam on, because I'm quite sure he didn't I'm quite sure that he didn't want no problem. So he did what he had to do. I'm quite sure that this officer didn't realize that the body camera was running until a little later. Massey's autopsy report, which was publicly released Friday, says she was killed by a gunshot wound to her head. And I read a little bit about that report, because they said that she was shot in her left eye. He shot her through her eye. Her family attorneys emphasized the angle at which deputies shot Massey. Massey was shot beneath her eye, and the bullet exited at the back of her neck under her ear, civil rights attorney Ben Crump said. What it tells us is that he shot her in a downward trajectory. So she was already crouching down. Did y'all see the video? Let me see what y'all got going on in these comments. Did y'all see the video? I did not see the video. I agree. I agree. If that was about I can't remember what it was about. Oh, publicly seeing trials, particularly big trials like this being publicized. Yes. Kat, thank you so much for the $1.99 super sticker. Oh, thank you. Because the super sticker was only $1. Thank you for the $10 super chat. I appreciate you, Kat. Hello there, Mr. YouTube. How are you doing? How are you doing? So let me get back to this. Thank you all so much for your support. I really do appreciate it. I really truly do. So Massey's autopsy report, which was publicly released Friday, says she was killed by a gunshot wound to the head, and they talked about it. It was at a downward trajectory. When asked for comments Friday, Grace's attorney, Daniel Fultz, told CNN, "I do not wish to comment." Grayson was indicted by a grand jury last week. As more let's go through here. As more details emerged about Grayson's DUI and previously documented incidents from the military and law enforcement, Massey's family members are tormented. They have one nagging question. Their attorney said, "Why was he even hired by the sheriff's department in the first place?" And see, this is that thing about politics and things like that. Because for me, I think police officers, number one, I don't think that the police departments themselves should be paying out all of the money. I think that these officers, they should have some kind of insurance, because they're considered to be professionals. Whether the police officer, I mean the police departments want to pay for this insurance, or whether that comes out of um, the police officers' own funds, $5 here, as an insurance, that when these cases come out, because this is one thing, when the police department is paying for these things, that means the county is paying for this stuff. That means that money is literally coming out of your pocket as a citizen of that county, of that city, of that state. That money is coming out of your pocket for their misconduct. I think that money should come from an insurance policy that they have to come out of pocket for. And it should be one of those things, is once they get one, or their insurance premium depends on um incidents. If they want to pay for 2 or 3 incidents, then the insurance policy should be a little bit higher. But I think that it should be paid. I think that they should be held accountable for any of these shootings. And people say, well, if someone is shooting at them and they shoot back, that's justified. But when you have to go to a board and stuff like this, and people who are being hired, people, they're not vetting these people like they need to. I think that there should be that those officers have to pay for that. And I think if many officers realize that this stuff is coming out of their pocket and coming out of their family's pocket, this, we live in a capitalistic country, so that money motivates a lot of people in their behavior. So let's continue. The Army discharged him after a serious offense, personnel files say. Grayson previously served in the U.S. Army but was discharged due to misconduct, serious offense, according to a Department of Defense document included in Grayson's personnel file during his time at the Kincaid Police Department in Illinois. Wonder what that was. The document says Grayson was separated from the Army under a general discharge after he served as a private first class at Fort Riley in Kansas. The file did not detail the alleged misconduct. Interesting. I wonder if the prosecution is going to pull that information for previous bad habits, because if it was serious, so he got a general discharge. That's just one step up from a dishonorable discharge. So I wonder what he did. Now, mind you, military folks know, because these soldiers are considered to be property of the United States military, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine. So they have a code of conduct. And so there's a lot of things in that code of conduct that could get you generally discharged, like being in debt, having affairs, if you're married, having sexual affairs. All of these types of things can end up getting you discharged from the services. Because, one of the things, I don't know if you know this, but when you are a young person in the military, you don't have as much rights as everyone else does. There's a lot of stuff going on with that code of conduct book. So anybody who's been in the military or has been in the military, please treat them with in my opinion, the most utmost respect, because they're doing all the things that they do, and they don't have as much rights because they got to get out here and fight and do all this stuff and put their life on the line. So y'all make sure y'all keeping these people lifted up for me, because there's two things I can't stand. I can't stand to know that there's someone who has served and they're living homeless, and they do. And to know that there are people that there those that are having some mental health issues, and they're not being treated. Uh, Number one, because you can't find some of them are, their mental health issues is causing for them to be out of pocket. But it bothers my soul to know that. Anyway. So so far you've got the fact that he had been separated by the Army. Then you have him pleading guilty to 2 DUIs before working at law enforcement agencies. Court records show that Grayson was charged with 2 DUI misdemeanors offenses in Illinois. Was it Macacupin County? One in 2015 and the other in 2016. And this is right around the time that he was discharged from the Army, right? When was he discharged? I saw that up here. Yeah, 2014 to 2016. So this is while he was in the Army. The first incident occurred in 2015. Grayson's vehicle was impounded after he was charged with driving under the influence. He pled guilty and paid more than $1,300 in fines, according to court records. In July 2016, he was charged with another DUI. He pled guilty and paid more than $2,400 in fines. So he's paid almost almost $4,000 or $5,000 in fines for DUI. Grayson acknowledged his DUI charges when he applied to be an officer for the Auburn Police Department in Illinois in 2021. He worked there from July 2021 to May 2022. They did not reveal any major problems or disciplinary issues. I'm quite sure from all of this other stuff, something happened, but somebody looked out for him. So now he's moved on to the Logan County Sheriff's Office in Illinois, record shows. He wrote the sheriff a brief letter detailing his terrible decision to drink and drive. Grayson's letter also said he lost his driving privileges for 1 year after pleading guilty to his second DUI in 2016. He needed to take high stress decision making classes, one agency recommended. Grayson worked at six. Y'all see that? Six. One, two, three, four, five, six law enforcement agencies since 2020. He started working part-time with Pawnee Police in August 2020, followed by the Kincaid and Verdon Police Departments. Then he started working full-time with the Auburn Police Department, the Logan County Sheriff's Department, and finally the Sangamon, I hope I'm saying that right, County Sheriff's Office in May 2023. So everywhere he's gone, he hasn't spent a full year. A few of his employment records from the Auburn Police Department indicate why Grayson said he left previous positions. In some cases, he wanted to work full-time but couldn't get part-time work. In other cases, he said he didn't want to move. While Grayson, because there was one story that I read that one of the police departments stated that he had to live within 10 miles of that particular thing. So he had to live in the city or no further than 10 miles out the city, and he didn't want to move. While Grayson did not appear to have any disciplinary issues while he was at Auburn, records from the Logan Sheriff said he needed to take high-stress decision-making classes. The recommendation came after Grayson failed to slow down after his boss called off a vehicle pursuit. Grayson was driving about 110 miles per hour before striking a deer, the records say. Logan County Sheriff Department. Logan County Sheriff Department. You knew when you hired this man that he had 2 DUIs. Why? Why would you put that man behind the wheel? And legally, was he supposed to be behind the wheel behind these DUIs? Was all those things adjudicated and everything was cool? What's really going on? Deputy Grayson pursued the truck from Lincoln at a high rate of speed, reaching speeds of 63 miles per hour. He was going 63 in a 30-mile-per-hour zone, and in my opinion, failed to show due caution while driving through stop intersections. Grayson supervisors terminated this pursuit, and Grayson turned off his emergency light, the report said. But Grayson continued at a high rate of speed, 110 in a 55-mile-per-hour zone, prior to striking the deer. No impulse control. I would be remiss to see before he joined the military what kind of issues and problems and issues that he had. Despite Grayson acknowledging he lacked experience, the report Deputy Grayson acknowledged that he lacked experience. The report said it also listed a series of recommendations, including additional traffic stop training, report writing training, high stress decision making classes, and needs to read, understand, and discuss issued. Okay. Oh, he need to read the policy. He needed to read the policy manual. It was not immediately clear if Grayson followed through with those recommendations. He resigned from the Logan County Sheriff Department in 2023. In the next month, he joined this police county. So, and that's just her son. And I don't want to read all of those things. So what are y'all thinking? Because I want to keep this, I really, truly want to keep this at an hour. But y'all, it's the same old, same old, same old, same old, same old, same old. Okay, Kat. Cameras in the courtroom. Exactly. Cameras need to be in the courtroom. I'm sorry. I think they do. I think cameras need to be in the courtroom. I think that they should be live. And I mean, we got court TV. Court TV's been around. I mean, I'm sorry, but court TV has been around before OJ happened. And so they have been reporting on court cases and things like that. There's just no reason in this day and age why they should not be televised. Now, I do understand about space. I do understand about that, but a camera that has a multi-feed that can feed out to everybody, that's not an issue. That's not a problem. Exactly. Six the police departments in 4 years is insane. And I keep telling you, this is what happens when they do dirt one place. Another police department will hire them, and another police department will hire them. It's just they go from police department to police department to police department. And once they've worn out their welcome in one state, they'll jump from this state and go to the next state. They'll continue to go. And I don't even know if there is some kind of database where once you get something on a record, it goes into some kind of database so that if he leaves, if he had left this police department and decided to go to Alaska, is there a database that shows that he's been in several police departments and he has had all these issues in these other police departments? And, again, every time he goes to a different police department, his liability insurance is going to have to go up. That's the way I believe. All right. Tell me what y'all think. Is there anybody else that got something? Again, thank you so much, Kat, for your super chats. I really do appreciate it. What do y'all think about these stories? We've talked about the Olympics. We've talked about what's happened over there in Marvel. It's not been a very juicy week, but it had enough to, we can eat these rice and peas. We can eat these rice and peas. Hey, Dr. Keisha, y'all go over to Dr. Keisha. She's got prayer intercessions. She's got her takes on different things that are going on in the celebrity world and things like that. Y'all go over there and support Dr. Keisha because I enjoy your channel. I'm telling you right now, I enjoy your channel. Every time I see that you're on, I'll tip on over. I may not comment, but I'm in the chat. So y'all tip on over to Dr. Keisha. She says she's done 3 videos on about Sonya. Go over there and get her perspective of what's going on. And so before I leave, I just wanted to give you this little perspective as a Black woman. Y'all, I know in this country, people talk all the time that they feel like we are talking too much. You Black women are talking too much. You Black women are always complaining about stuff, and you always make things racial. And I am working on I am working on a little project because I do want to do a video, y'all. I'm going to do a video. It's going to be like documentary style. So it probably take me a few weeks to get it done, but I do want to talk about some things because one of the things that's bothering me is this happens. You can go into 50 states and you can go into 50 states that have Black people in it. And you will always find that there is always some issues with the police. And people always talk about, well, if you all will comply. And you remember through this broadcast, I've been talking about different incidents where people were shot and killed and they were complying. And it has nothing to do with compliance. It has everything to do with bias. And it has everything to do with this mythical creature of this big black woman, big black man who we are so violent and evil and all of this other stuff that people turn around and and they're biased in regards to that. They decide that they want to shoot. Now they'll tell you, "Oh, I feared for my life." But from what I've heard about that video, that man was not standing there like he had feared for his life. And according to what his own police department said, that he egged the incident on. Now, again, I'm not watching the video. And I know reporting on stuff like that, Pamela, you always want to be able. I'm not watching that because I'm so very, very sick of seeing Black death. I don't know why it's so commodified as it is, but I'm sick of it. So I'm not going to have that enter my spirit like that. But I will say this. When I talked about at the top of the thing about being involved in politics, and when I talk, because people don't want to be involved, they don't want to do that because, right now we're into this thing where in politics, it's you versus you, and it's no longer about here's an issue, these are my positions about this issue, and here are my positions about this issue, and this is what we're going to do. No, it's all about we're gonna sun you, we're gonna make sure that you are basically kill you in politics. Everybody's this rivalry. If y'all do not bring back these moderates, not these old people, but there are a lot of people who are moderates on both sides of the aisle, who are in the middle, who understand issues, they understand policies, and they understand compromise. Everybody's not going to get what they want, but we can get something done that is going to be effective and help all of the American people. But we don't want to do that. But again, getting back to politics, because of that, there's rules, laws, and regulations that can be written. And if you're not voicing your opinion about these things that are happening to you, they're going to continue to happen. They're going to continue to happen. And so it's very, like I said, I don't care what side of the aisle that you're working on. If you are a Black person and you're sick of seeing stuff like this and this is happening, this should be a political issue that you bring forth to whatever candidate that you want to vote for. And if they cannot give you a reasonable answer about what kind of policies that can be in place to prevent this stuff, then that's the power of your vote. They don't get to be in office. So pay attention to the policies that are going on. And again, I talked about the school board. See, I live in the great state of Alabama, and let me explain to you what goes on and why it's so important to pay attention to the school boards. And I know it happens here in this state, and it may happen other southern states too. But see, what you have are the Daughters of the Confederate. Now, they're no longer, they rebranded themselves into other things, the Daughters of Liberty and all this other stuff. But you need to make sure that you're paying attention to this, because these are the same people that want to whittle away and take away everything that you do, any kind of education in the school for your children. But their children are sitting over here in a private school where they don't want the state to be involved in, and they do whatever they want over there, but they also want to be able to dictate what's going on with your children in the school. So you make sure you pay attention to who's on that school board and where they're going, and call them out, because we've had this same kind of problem. We've had all these people, these women who claim that because they do a lot of charity and they're on the school board, and they're talking all these things and taking away things for your children, but their children are sitting over here fat and happy. They're not involved in the school system. So those are the people that do not need to be on the school board. They just causing confusion, and they're trying to take away the things that you want to do. Same thing that's happening down in Florida. I mean, you can't even have a book about your hair, or have a book about how or different things like that, because oh no, we don't need to learn all of that. My kids don't need to learn about what you're going through, because it's going to make them feel bad. No, it don't have nothing to do with your kids. Honestly, it's because they Mima was in the picture of them folks lynching people. You don't want your kids to see Mima in them school books. That's what you don't want them to see. But again, I'm on a tangent. That's just me living here in the South. Tell me what y'all think. Tell me what you think about these comments. About these topics. Tell me what you think about what do you think is going to happen in regards to Sonya Massey, because right here in Kat was saying that the judge was saying that he didn't want any cameras in the courtroom. So I'm quite interested to see what is going to happen with that. All right, people. We do this every week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video if you care. Again, help me reach to 1,000 subscribers. Please share this video. Please comment on this video, not only here on the live, but please comment in the regular part and let me know that you're here. All right, people, please tell a friend, tell a kin, tell a coworker, tell that heifer that you can't stand that I'm over here making these videos. And as always, people, bye-bye.